Will mark that day with the knowledge of who his father actually was.
It's an incredible story as we hear from Channel 2's Dave McKinley.
I knew I was adopted from the time I can remember.
And like many adoptees over the course of his 68 years, Bruce Byer was occasionally curious, but
I was surrounded by love, and I had no reason to go looking.
Until his doctors started pressing about his family medical history.
I had a heart attack and eventually 8 stents installed. And that was the reason that I started looking into for medical information. I started out by writing New York State Department of Child and Family Services,
where, like many adoptees in New York, he ran into walls.
And they responded that they had records, but they couldn't divulge anything under New York state law.
Like so many others, with the development of DNA technology, he began to work around the system.
I spit in a tube, sent it off in the mail.
To Ancestry.com, which keeps a database of millions who voluntarily submitted DNA.
And on Christmas Day, I talked to a woman who we identified as my sister.
A woman in Georgia who told them of her father, also his.
Her dad turned out to be a fellow named Joseph Hicks Tipton.
He's the guy in the jacket standing in the corner of the photo of Babe Ruth's last game.
This is a picture of my dad tagging out Joe DiMaggio. He played in his rookie year in the major leagues for the Cleveland Indians in 1948. At his one at-bat during the World Series, he was struck out by Warren Spahn, who's from Buffalo.
But the DNA also revealed a list of others related to Bruce, but not to Tipton. He contacted 2 identified as likely cousins who told him of their Aunt Pamela Lazarus, same name on Bruce's adoption papers, who was living in Wilkes-Barre during a season in which Tipton played minor league ball and who shortly thereafter disappeared for 9 months or so, sent off to Buffalo for reasons she never spoke of. Her lineage, and therefore now his, can also be traced to Benedict Arnold, which holds another irony.
And that's not the first time you've been referred to that way.
That's correct. I was a draft resistor during the Vietnam War, kind of well known in the Buffalo area at that time.
The case of Bruce Byers was one of the most chronicled of that era, including when he returned to the U.S. after 10 years by walking across the Peace Bridge with former U.S. Attorney General Ramsey Clark toward a federal courtroom where charges against him were eventually dismissed. It was of note in March when he finally met his half-sister from Georgia.
And she's married to a Vietnam veteran who's very proud of his service. And of course, I'm a person who opposed the war. But she was able to put her arms around me and love me. And it's been an amazing experience. The infinite capacity for love among human beings is just overwhelming.
So, too, is this keepsake recently sent to him by relatives on his mother's side. It's an ornament belonging to her. Look carefully as we tell you of this letter Bruce found among his adoptive mother's papers when she passed, penned by someone to the parents of the baby boy she gave up and whom she refers to as the beautiful pink flower she once held, who has all the love he shall ever need, which was what she always wanted for him. And now, look at this again.
And there it is. It's amazing stuff.
It turns out that Bruce has other half-siblings in various parts of the country as well, sired by Joe Tipton, indicating that in his journeyman days in the various major and minor league cities, he journeyed quite a bit. As for his birth mother, he's also learned that she died just 4 years ago. I came this close to meeting her, is what he said. Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
Wow.
Hey, wow. Is that profound or what? What an amazing tale.